Hi, Martin. Thank you so much for joining me on this Retail and Data interview series. I'm really excited to have a chat with you and kind of get stuck into the questions that we've got today. I hope you're well.
Oh, thank you, Emily. I was looking forward to this. I always like minds talking on topics of my passion. It's just fun.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited. So obviously your former role was former director of AI and machine learning at Levi's, which is obviously a really exciting role. I just wanted to I want you to set the scene for me, really. What are kind of the exciting ways that you have used data in the retail industry?
Oh my goodness. That great question. Oh boy. So the initiative opportunities are all over the place. I mean, from predictive analytics and how you can use these analytics to do forecasts, optimize pricing. Shifting gears in another direction, you could go into personalization for the consumer experience, making a very unique experience for the consumer to be more immersive. And you could get into supply chain, playing with optimization, looking at better ways to sourcing your materials ethically. You could go into the social media world and see how your brand is doing, do new measures and maybe apply automation to that. And, some of the fun stuff coming up and links to generative or augmented reality also, and maybe putting those together with generative and augmented reality programs to help promote your brand. Lots of fun stuff.
And what are some of the areas where you've used generative AI in retail then?
Yeah, so specifically, I think opportunities that I've been experimenting with, for my purview as looking at it, rapid prototyping examples. How can I take something from what looks like a public source and manipulate it to do what I want to do? Maybe build some custom capabilities from that, maybe lead you down the path of how I would play personalization on top of existing models using some generative techniques. Clearly marketing collateral has a strong opportunity for playing with generative and using your tone and taking things that you've measured as highly successful. And another great area, and this is one I'm kind of excited looking back early in my career when I did work on software for call centers and how that software works and the infrastructure and call centers with 500 people in a geographic area. Boy, there's a great opportunity for optimization of call centers and the scripts and how you manage the scripts and maybe close to real time promotion of better dialogue with the customer. They tend to be a little bit impersonal, and this may give a little more personality to when a consumer is actually coming in either via voice or text to get help, and great opportunity there.
And why do you think it is kind of so important for brands within the retail and industry to really kind of be implementing generative AI?
Well, there's the nirvana of doing more with less and leveraging the tooling that's there. Instead of having to code up things manually, you can find solutions that can mold into your environment a little easier. You might want to tune it to be more specific to your industry and giving responses of a consuming experience. You can also listen for tone, in a language model example, get some customer sentiment without requesting it. It's a unique opportunity to measure value of the brand just using language.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And how do you think a kind of business's data culture impacts the way that you get employees kind of involved in these new data initiatives?
Wow, that hits hard. It's hard. So as we know, data should be treated as a strategic asset. It's the fuel that goes in the engine, and what you do with it, how you use it, how you leverage it is so critical to everyone. And, not to be too cliche as data is the new oil or data is the new gold. data's been the gold all along. It's been always there. It's how you leverage it, and you can build features on top of it and drive second order solutions. And some of the magic on a global company are, the governance and regulatory concerns about private information and who can see it. And you can go all over the place with where data culture is so critical. And for people that generate solutions using data, you want to give confidence that, one, those solution creators will have access to the information needed to be successful in their roles. They can be strategic with it, they can measure it, they can manipulate it, and they can present it.
I think as well, having the right kind of data culture and the business treating data as an asset kind of affects the way that you can attract data talent as well. Have you come across that?
So yes, no. Let me clarify the question answer combination. One is someone that's well knowledged in understanding maybe some of the challenges they had prior to an organization and coming into a new organization would know to ask these questions.
Yeah.
However, the people that generally don't have those visibility points, so the pain points at their forefront, they're not always asking those questions. And that is really a strong understanding of where they're going, and knowing that they're going to a culture of a company that may have silos in the business. IT is a critical element, and it also is a critical element to the governance and control. And you want to be able to have innovation. And this is where startups, where more mature companies have challenges. Startups come up with the ideas of how to solve this, and more mature companies typically pick up on these solutions and then can run with them.
I think again that kind of shows why it's so important to have people at the kind of C-suite level that understand the importance of being kind of data driven and treating data as an asset.
Absolutely. You want the transparency for the people that need to leverage it, use it, measure it, share it, make decisions on it. Collaboration is so critical that without the data, the collaboration doesn't happen.
Yeah, no, totally agreed. And how do you, obviously you were kind of at director level in some big companies before. How have you found it kind of attracting the right talent, and how do you think it's best to build a kind of effective data science and AI team? Sorry, you get my words out.
So let me see if I can rephrase the question back. You're asking how is it to build a strong team that's focused on AI?
Yeah.
Okay. So, there's the innovation, and the innovation side is, that curiosity, the inquisitiveness, the desire to find new ways to do things. That is a little bit of a magic point, finding that. And then you want to mesh that with definitely some hard skills of certain ways of working with the tools of the trade, the type of informational tools they need, the data manipulation tools, the visualization tools. And then you leverage into the SDLC side, the software development lifecycle, and magic to find that characteristic across the data science team. When you run across SDLC enabled data scientists, you want to hire them. You can mold them better, but you want to hire them because you're not starting from ground zero. And when I talk about SDLC, I'm talking about a builder mentality. I'm talking about those that just they refine it, build it, make it better. They write their own organizational tests, the unit tests, the functional tests, data validation, data quality tests. That is huge. And if you find people that can go full cycle like that, once again, I say you go hire them.
Yeah, you need to make sure. And how do you think you kind of retain talent like that?
For me, it's been fairly easy to retain builders. And when I say builders, people that enjoy putting things out, putting them together, build the next thing, maintain it, fix it, make it better. We talk the same DNA. We talk about how we can improve it. And so with that, you also empower learning, no conditions on learning. You empower collaboration and fuel the next generation of team. And so ultimately, I'm trying to train people to take my role.
Yeah.
And if I do that, and I'm doing it from the heart, I'm empowering the next generation. And I find it real easy to be at a company, and when I change my role and I tap back to the prior company and they recognize I've invested in them, they
Yeah.
typically follow me very, very quickly to the next org.
That's perfect. That's very ideal. And in terms of the challenges that we're kind of facing with data, do you think what challenges do you think are facing the industry in the next kind of 5 to 10 years?
So there's lots of challenges. The first challenge today is the one everybody's running around, the generative side, and how can I use this today? And a lot of people are scrambling for the same economic solutions and the same ways of solving problems, and how can I do more with less? Ultimately, the battles could be won by builders, those that can build it, those that can monetize on how they build it, how they uniquely build it for a specific functional characteristic, capability, and deployment. And if it doesn't deploy somewhere, and that could be virtually or retained, it has to have some containment. So a solution that's purely a software as a service may now have to shift back to a repatriation type solution, where you are basically acquiring virtual, what do they call it? Virtual solutions, marketplace solutions, like from the cloud providers. And generally, most of the cloud providers are coming to the table with much of the same type of solutions.
Yeah.
So it's a competitive landscape right now for who's going to win the battle of the power tools.
And in terms of things that we've got to kind of look forward to, do you think there's anything that's really exciting that's coming along?
Yes. So with all this great innovation, there's going to be a new wave of governance, security, compliance, and overlays, and maybe some market players that come into those niches directly. And I see that as an opportunity to be one of those players as an enabler of the technology at its finest.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. Well, thank you very much for your time today, Martin. It's been really lovely to get your insights from someone who's obviously been in the industry for a really, really long time. So I appreciate that very much. It's been lovely chatting with you.
Thank you, Emily, and I look forward to talking again soon.